Your finger when you're ready. Hey guys, I'm back with this video on how to fry that beautiful red snapper that we have here. Now I want you guys to see the eyes, how clear and beautiful they still are. These eyes are so clear they look like, I remember once I knew somebody that had eyes as clear, as beautiful as that. But anyway, we're not going to go on to that right now. These are the eyes that you want to see on any fish that you buy. The two things that you can use to tell whether a fish is extremely fresh are the eyes and the gills. And I already took the gills out of these. So I soaked them in a little salty water. I have the collar. These are also known as the napes. I kind of opened them up a little bit, butterflied them. And for all those that if you've never ever tried eating any of the fish heads, when the fish head's bigger than this, it's excellent to use for stock when you're making any kind of sauces or you're making any kind of soups or chowders. But when they're small like this, you can also fry them and you can just kind of eat the meat that's in and around. There's a lot of flesh in here and cartilage, and the head has all of the collagen. And the collagen replenishes your collagen in your body and your joints, strengthening. That's why people in the islands and the Caribbean, they have such beautiful skin and they're so strong because they don't waste any of the fish. They eat the head and it's really good for you. So anyway, I have my oil over here that's been heating up. You want the oil to be anywhere from 360 to 375, and that's going to be the best temperature for you to fry this fish. You don't want it too hot. I'm going to show you how you test the oil so not to let it get real hot. So I have some Himalayan pink salt that I'm going to use. And when fish is this fresh, you don't want to drown out the natural flavor of the fish. You want to salt it and pepper it. And when I say pepper, I mean just black pepper. This is the Himalayan pink salt that I'm using to season it on this first side. We're going to flip it over. And then we're going to season the other side. And then we're going to drop it into our flour. Now, all those who are that can't eat gluten, I'm using gluten-free flour, and it comes out just as beautiful and tasty as when you use flour with gluten. I prefer to use gluten-free because the gluten-free flour gives it a more crispy consistency, and I like that a lot about the gluten-free. So I'm choosing to use that today. And what you're gonna need to actually, we're not gonna bread it with breadcrumbs, we're gonna dredge it in flour. And when you dredge it in flour, it's a very light coat and it's a beautiful coat. So you need a Ziploc bag, a good sized Ziploc bag. I have my flour in here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of the Himalayan pink salt to the flour. And we're going to add just a little bit, maybe a half a teaspoon. And we're going to also use like another half a teaspoon of black pepper to flavor your gluten-free flour. Now you don't want too much, just enough to give it a nice little pepper coloring. And the reason why I use a bag is so that you can evenly coat your fish. So I'm going to put the fish in here, and it doesn't matter. You can just drop it in. And I've used maybe a half of a cup of flour. And then you take the same with the napes or what we call the collars, and you zip seal it so that there's air trapped in the bag, and then you bring it and shake it up. And the reason why you want to have air trapped in the bag is because it evenly coats everything with the flour. This is the best way that I found to dredge anything that you're gonna fry. And now this is ready to go. I always save the heads for last because whatever flour is left in the bag, I can use to coat those heads. So what you want to do, and I'm going to show you here, is you want to dip the tip. Now, do you see how that's bubbling? That's ready to fry, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop that in there, and we're not going to put too much in because we don't want to cool down the temperature of the fish too much. We're going to go ahead and drop the other piece of fish in there, and now we have 3 pieces left. We're going to drop one of the thicker, the dorsal loins in there, and we're going to let that go ahead and fry. And you fry until the fish actually starts floating to the top. So we're going to go ahead and come back when it's starting to float. All right? So